Hey guys, David here, and I got a question about stability and how you create it in a business, and it kind of tied into another question that I got, so I'll kind of answer both of those questions in one video. Basically, what happens is if you have an offer, right, and what you're going to want to do is send traffic to it, right? Now, if you're sending one type of traffic and that traffic ceases to work and you have no other traffic, then nothing happens. Your business dies. And that's really when I talk about stability, that's what I'm talking about. Um, and you can run multiple solos, right? And this is kind of what people may not understand. It's not one place, right? It's never, for me at least, it's not one vendor who's gonna send me, you know, a million clicks, right? And then it's gonna all convert, and it's gonna be the best traffic ever, and it's the only thing that I have to do. Honestly, guys, if it was that easy, everyone would do it. It would be done more often than it's not. If you're lazy or you don't have the ambition or the drive or the will to go out there and test 10 to 20 different vendors to find, five, maybe eight that can provide you with quality traffic over and over and over and over and over again, then don't do solos, right? It's not a game of chance, right? You strategically and intentionally go out there and you test different vendors, right? And I don't want to turn this into a solo video, but what I see happening is people go to one vendor and they say, hey, I want 1,000 clicks. And honestly, I don't test with 1,000 clicks. I test with 200 to 300. That's usually what I test with. And another thing that you guys may want to pay attention to or think about is stay away from these small solo vendors. If they can only provide 500 clicks or 1,000 clicks and they have the best traffic ever, right? The best. Um, how much of that can you really get, right? If you're doing a offer that pays out substantially, like Mob or like some other top tier thing, then if you make a commission, it can be 1,000, 3,000, or $5,000. So if the commissions are that high, and it pays out, you can go right back and buy a substantial amount of traffic. A $3,000 traffic solo is a really good, big, um, you know, that's a lot of traffic, and it really depends on whether you're getting it at 65 cents, 70 cents, and these are a click. So if you're getting it at 80 cents, the numbers can go really, really large as far as how much traffic can be delivered. But if they're only doing 500 or 1,000 clicks, this isn't going to matter because you can buy them out. They have a small list. Usually people who are providing, 2,000, right? 4,000, right? 5,000. These are kind of the people that I stay with, right? If you can't provide 2 to 4,000 clicks at a minimum, then I really would rather not deal with you. And it's nothing against small solo ad vendors or anything like that. It just doesn't. It usually doesn't work out for me that well. If I get a home run, right? Because most of the things that you do are not going to be a home run. But when you do have a home run, how do you go ahead and go out there and really, hit another home run, or a ground slam or whatever the escalation you want to use? How do you go out there and do that? You can't. You would buy them out. If I do a 300 click test, you can only offer me 700 more clicks difference than your max. That doesn't make a lot of sense. There's not a lot of scalability from one to the other, right? 300 to 1,000 isn't a real big scale. 300 to 5,000 is, right? 300 to 10,000 to 15,000. But I really don't want to turn this into a solo ads video. But if you're only doing one, then you're basically, going back to this, if you're only doing one, your business isn't stable, right? You have no stabilization. It's not stable. So you want to go and find different traffic modalities, right? And test different things. And even if you outsource them, like you can outsource someone to run your PPC or your PPV, you can outsource that stuff. I don't do that at all. I don't necessarily, want to turn over, some part of my business like that as far as lead generation, but you can. Um, if you guys, and this is another thing that kind of isn't talked about, if you understand what CPA marketing, right, that's kind of where I started. Cost per action, right? So I get someone to do thing, whether it be email, a zip code, or something. I get somebody to put in something into a page, right? And this kind of this is where I started, and it's not bad, but it's kind of not what I'm doing now, so I don't really talk about it that much. But if you can go out and you can find these offers, right? What a lot of people do is they send PPV traffic, which is how I started. And when you're sending the PPV traffic to this, you may get $1 per email or $2 per email, or $1 a zip code, or some of these offers pay out like $3 or $4, so it can be pretty profitable and cheap, especially when you're sending PPV traffic for pennies on the dollar and you're making dollars when they actually enter their email. But I want to get out of that. What you actually can do is you can become the CPA guy, right? You can be the one paying people for the email addresses, and they can drive thousands and hundreds of thousands of clicks to your offer. There are companies out there that you can go to and actually have them deliver on a regular basis some type of CPA offer, right? You can say, hey, I'll pay $1 per email, right? And I would suggest doing a double opt-in if you do this. I've tested it before and it comes on quick. So you do want to do a double opt-in so that you're not just getting bad emails or busted emails, or emails that are going to bounce, or the people weren't really wanting to enter in their email, but they're running some type of traffic exchange or something like that, and those things are out there. So you can go to these companies and say, hey, I'll pay $1, right? And now you can have 2 million, 5 million, 3 million emails very shortly, because how this game really works is we only send traffic as marketers to offers that convert and offers that pay out well. It has to pay more than the traffic cost that you're sending, and I don't want to ever get away from that, or try to mislead people into that. The only reason why we're sending traffic to an offer is because I get paid more than the traffic costs, right? If not, I would be losing money. And that, in essence, is what the business is, right? This online marketing thing. This is it, right? We make this complicated. This is simple. Traffic to an offer. That's it. It's simple. Now, there are things that you have to learn that make it complex, right? As far as the actual intricacies of what it is that we're doing. But the idea and the actual execution is really simple. Traffic to an offer. Now you have to go out there and get good traffic. You have to have a high converting offer, but in essence, this is all we're doing. But if we're sending traffic to an offer and we're only sending one kind, and if that kind drops off, and I don't mean one kind. So if you're on a PPV network and it's working on Lead Impact, and you go over there and you try it on Traffic Vance, and then you go out there and you try it on 50 on Red, and then you go out there maybe on Media Traffic or whatever, I think it's called Media Traffic, I don't use them, but you go out there and you try it on them, that's not one thing. It's very unlikely that all of those traffic places that are sending you this pop-up traffic or cost per view traffic, there's a very low chance that all of them will drop off at the same time. If you're sending PPC traffic and you're sending it on Bing, Yahoo, Ad Center, right? You run the risk of not being able to branch out. Bing can send you as much traffic as you can buy in most offers, like most verticals, I think they're called. They can send you a bunch of different traffic, but the problem is if Bing, ever decides not to do something like, like AdWords did, then you would have to change it up. But so PPC, I don't recommend, because I use Bing, I don't recommend that this is the only thing that you do. You need to offset that with something else, and offline or line, or whatever you want to do. So this is how you create stability, basically, right? You go through a different, even if you're doing one modality, you go through different people who offer traffic in that modality, right? Like we talked about, Traffic Vance, Lead Impact, 50 on Red, and so on. If you're going through solos, you find 8 to 5 vendors, right, who can provide you a substantial amount of traffic. And when you hit home runs with these guys, you go back and you buy bigger traffic, and that's how you scale things. So I hope this, kind of answered both those questions. Um, how you actually, create stability in your business, and why I talk about so many different traffic modalities. So if you're looking for a high converting offer, something that makes all this stuff make sense, because the offer is the most important thing, just go ahead and click the link below, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.